Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome back to Keep Fish Simple. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about what are the best plants to keep with your guppies. And in a more specific term, we're going to be talking about the 7 best plants. So these are going to be like my opinion. This is just going to be basically what I would keep with guppies. So don't go crazy on me because this is just what I would recommend and what I would tell you guys if you ask me, because I do get it quite often. A lot of people ask me, hey, I've got like a guppy tank. I want to get into planted aquariums and all that kind of stuff. So what's the best plant to keep? And basically, all the plants that I've got for you guys are going to be super easy to grow. They're going to be like almost impossible to kill, and they're going to serve a lot of purposes with the guppies. So they're going to help you guys to give spaces for the fry to go and hide, and they're also going to look really, really cool. And they're also going to aid in taking out a lot of those nasty chemicals that we don't want, using them to grow. And they're also going to provide lots of surface area for bacteria to form that help run the nitrate cycle in your aquarium. So make sure you stay around to the end of the video for the YouTube algorithm. It really, really does help me out. And please consider giving this video a like, and also because you'll get to see all of the 7 plants. And without any further ado, let's get started. I'm going to quickly say, yes, this video is going to be in order. So 7's going to be like the worst guppy plant, and then number 1's going to be the best. So just really quick disclaimer. Okay, and so number 7 on my list is going to be Java fern. So Java fern is going to be a really awesome plant to keep with your guppies if you guys have never kept plants before. And this is going to be because if you guys have some hardscapes, so like a decoration in your aquarium, or like I'd recommend having some driftwood or like a rock or something like that, you can pretty much just attach this to that piece of hardscape and it will just grow. And it's really, really hard to kill. It's one of the easiest plants to keep in the entire hobby. And basically what this is this rhizomial plant. So basically this root's gonna like attach itself with a bunch of little mini roots and attach itself to like a piece of rock and grow that way. So this is a really interesting plant. You can grow like big bushes of this stuff and it'll hide lots of fry. In specific, I like to keep it because it's really easy to grow. Normally people can put it on like a rock or something like that and make it look a little bit different. And it's one of my favorite plants to keep with guppies, because if you guys let this sit in your aquarium for long enough, the leaves are going to start to create little baby Java ferns, and you can plant them and create like a huge jungle of this stuff, and fry can go and hide in it. So I like to use it more for aquascapes and stuff like that. I also like it because it's just super easy to grow. But if you look down here, I've got a huge jungle of this stuff and it does a really good job of hiding fry. Okay, so number 6 on this list is gonna be Anubias. So Anubias is very, very similar to Java fern. In fact, they're like almost the same except they look different. Anubias grows off of its rhizome, so you just attach it the same as Java fern. And basically it's just a bit of a different look. So Anubias, it grows like more round leaves. They're both slower growing plants, but it grows big round leaves and it kind of has like a different look. With both of these plants, there's heaps of different styles you can get. So you guys can go through and look at all of those styles and kind of like pick out what you want to do. They're both going to be super easy plants to grow, and they're going to be really cool plants to add to like hardscapes and stuff like that because they look really sick. Okay, and so number 5 on my list is going to be a bit of a different one. You're probably not going to get recommended this one often, and this is going to be micro swords. So micro swords are going to be a carpeting plant. They are one of the most awesome plants that I've ever kept, and I kind of like stumbled upon these by accident. Basically, I bought like a little tub of these guys. I planted them like the little stems and stuff like that around my aquarium, and they just carpeted the whole entire bottom. So they're in this bottom aquarium down here. It's a huge carpet of this stuff with my Endler guppies, and it's worked out to be really, really good. So basically, the first 2 on this list were kind of like plants that I keep for aesthetics, but this is going to be a really useful plant, but it's also really aesthetic. So basically, you don't need highlighting or anything like that. It's super easy to grow. You just need like a cheap light, like I've got an eBay light. They're gonna like a little bit more highlight, but you can get like away with kind of like moderate light. Basically, what this is gonna do is gonna grow a big carpet along the bottom, but what's gonna happen is that carpet can provide lots of little hiding spaces for fry to go in. So guppies can give birth and the fry can go and hide in the carpet. It's a really, really good spot for them to go. I often see them going through it as well and like finding little pieces of food and stuff like that. It's like a plant that you can't really get like carpeting with other easy to grow plants like this one without having to get like CO2 and stuff like that. With this one, you don't need any of that at all. So if you're looking for something to add to the bottom of an aquarium to create a beautiful green, kind of like grassy looking bottom, this is gonna be a really, really awesome plant for you guys to add. Okay, and so in number 4 on my list is gonna be Java moss. So Java moss is gonna be a really, really good plant for guppies because it's optimal for breeding. I've had heaps of people say that this is like a fast growing plant, and in my opinion, it's not really like that fast growing. I haven't had tremendous amounts of growth like what I have had with other plants. But basically this plant is a really, really good plant to create a big like jungle of moss. You're gonna buy it like in a little ball or something like that in like a tub. And it's gonna grow out and it's just gonna be like a huge jungle of plant. and it's going to be really good for guppies because the fry can go and hide in that as well. Another thing that's really good about it is it creates lots of little like tiny pieces of food and stuff like that in there, lots of little wisteria that the fry can actually go and eat. So it's a really beneficial plant for breeding guppies. If you want to add like guppies to a bare bottom tank, you're going to get a lot more fry as opposed to a couple of other plants because there's just so much hiding spaces for them to go in. It's hard to swim through like a big jungle of netting, and it's like a big spider web, so they can just sit in the middle because they're small, but the big guys can't get in there and get them easily. Okay, and so number 3 on the list is going to be guppy grass. So this plant got its name for a few reasons. So first reason why is because it was kept with guppies. So basically this plant is a floating plant. Often you can plant it in the substrate and stuff like that, but a lot of people use it for breeding guppies because it provides a lot of hiding spaces for the fry. Again, this is going to be more of like a floating plant. So basically guppies can get up there in the top and they're going to like be able to breed, and they're going to be able to give birth up there, and the fry can go in there and hide, and it creates like huge jungles of it. So it looks really good in bare bottom tanks and breeding tanks and all that kind of stuff, and it's super easy to grow. You literally just need like a couple of cuttings and it's just going to grow like a huge, like massive kind of like bush of this stuff up the top of the aquarium. And it's more of like a different display to other plants that you're going to see on this list. It's like a kind of wiry stem plant. It looks really, really cool. It kind of looks like Rotala, but not really, I don't know. It's kind of like similar to Rotala, and it's a really, really good plant, and it serves a really good purpose to keep with guppies. Okay, and so plants number 2 and 1 are going to be very, very similar plants. Okay, and so plant number 2 is going to be water sprite. So water sprite is a plant that you can put like on the top of an aquarium as like a floating plant, like the guppy grass that I was just talking about before, but also this plant's really good if you want to plant it in the substrate of your aquarium. So it can grow both ways. It's like more of a bushy plant. I don't really know how to explain the leaves. This stuff is just going to grow like a huge bush at the bottom of your aquarium. It's super, super cheap and super hardy. It's one of the hardest plants to kill on this list. It's one of the quickest growing plants on this list. So basically I like to use this plant on the top of my aquariums. I like to use it as like kind of like a leech for taking out all those bad chemicals in the aquarium, and it uses them to grow. And I've actually used it a lot for getting rid of algae and stuff like that because it provides like a big canopy and can limit a lot of light getting through, but it also outcompetes the algae for nutrients and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys want to see that video, there's a video up here on how to get rid of green water, and I use some water sprite to get rid of that. But the reason it's really good with guppies is because it provides lots of hiding spaces like all the other plants have on this list pretty much, and also because it gives you that option of planting it up the top and creating like a big bush, but you can also put it on the bottom and take all the little snippets and stuff like that and plant a big jungle of this stuff. And plant number 1 is going to be water wisteria. So this was the first ever plant that I kept with guppies when I first started getting into aquariums and breeding fish, and I was breeding guppies. And basically this plant was really, really good to keep with guppies because it grows pretty much the exact same as the water sprite. I found it not to do as well with floating as water sprite does, but water wisteria is really good if you want to grow like a big jungle of this stuff, because this stuff can actually grow quite tall, so you can plant up like a whole entire aquarium with this stuff and provide heaps and heaps of hiding spaces for guppies to go. But also once you start getting into that stage of keeping guppies where you've got like so many that they're creating so much waste, this plant grows so quick that it can kind of keep up with the amount of toxins being produced, and you can do a really, really good job of taking out lots of harmful chemicals in the aquarium. So it's pretty much the exact same as the water sprite. If you want to create like a huge bush of this stuff, you just can chuck like a couple sprigs of it in your aquarium, and then they'll grow up tall, and you can just take the tops off the sprigs and replant the sprigs again, and it's just going to go nuts. So it's really, really cool plant. It was in my first ever aquarium, and I really like the way it looks. I think it looks a little bit better than the water sprite, so that's why I put it at number 1. But that's pretty much going to be the list, guys. So thank you so much for watching this video. I really, really do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.